We've hosted that session in March, an in-person gathering in Zurich at the Impact Hub. And after receiving many requests from people around the globe that wanted to join and ask for a hybrid session, and because hybrid sessions are still very challenging when you have small sessions, we couldn't let them in, but we decided to do a second session with Karin, today our speaker, and do an online version of it. So here we are today. I met Karin a few months back at the Building Bridges event in Geneva. I was going from session to session until I ended up at the Impact Hub Geneva for the mainstreaming impact investing event. And there I saw her and met her, and she was presenting. And to me, she was radiating like the sun while she was sharing her thoughts, and maybe even blinding certain people when she brought up the words love and business in the same sentence. I could not help it but pass her on my business card and invited her to speak at Impact for Breakfast. So here we are today. In the meantime, I'm honored to say that we became members. So Artha Impact, the organization behind IFB, became member of the SunHeart Business Leader Network. A wonderful network with the aim to bring those people together that pursue the same core values in life. I'm sure Karin will share a little more in a few minutes. Before I hand over to Karin, I have to bore you with a few housekeeping rules. So as you've heard just before, this session is being recorded. We are more than happy to share the recording with you in the follow-up note I'll be sending after this session. This session is planned, we have 1 hour planned for it. The first half an hour will be a presentation by Karin. It's going to be interactive. As I heard from her, she's going to ask you a few questions. You're welcome to share your thoughts during the presentation, but we'll also have a Q&A after her presentation. Well, we have 25 minutes for comments, inputs, feedbacks, discussion rounds, whatever you'd like to share with us. And now, with no further ado, over to you, Karin.
So thank you very much, Deborah, and hi to everybody. It's really a pleasure. Thank you that you invited me once more to share some thoughts about impact investing and about what's love got to do with it. And to introduce myself shortly, the first 11 years, I would say, of my professional time I have spent at the bank. I made an apprenticeship there, and with the age of 27, I became self-employed. And why did I do so? When I finished my apprenticeship, I thought for myself, well, now life begins. I have a good income, I have time, I have not to learn anymore, not to go to school, and I will just enjoy life and do everything that I like to do. And I want to be wild and free, let's say. And suddenly a thought occurred. What if I would die tomorrow? What if I would have an accident and I had not yet had the chance to enjoy my life and to do something in my life? And I just asked myself, why do things happen like that? And what is if I would die, and what is after death? And so I started to find questions on these, or answers on these questions. And I thought at the beginning, I could maybe go into science and find there tell science about all that. And then I started to study some philosophers, what do they say, and different religions. And it was very interesting to find out that at a certain point that modern science, which is able at the moment to look so deeply into the microcosmos, seems to prove somehow what ancient philosophers told thousands of years ago. And so I realized that there are certain laws in nature or principles in life, they all more or less agreed with them. And my conclusion was just, when there are some principles in life, or laws of nature, as I like to call them, then I would probably be more happy, more joyous, more successful when I live my life in accordance with these laws. And so I became self-employed because I wanted to share that with entrepreneurs as a management consultant, how to run a business in accord with nature, in accord with these laws of nature, which results automatically in a very ethical and sustainable way of life, I would say. And of course, during the whole journey, I made for myself a lot of experiences which proved to me it really works. And so it was interesting for me to try out how people would react in the business world, and started to make experiences. A question, because we want to have that a little interactive. Who of you would like to be just successful in life, happy and joyous and healthy? And now I need to switch to another point. If you would like to be successful, I suppose at least everybody would like to be. Exactly. Me too. Who of you would go on top of the Eiffel Tower and just jump down? Would anybody do that?
With a parachute or without?
Without.
Oh.
Oh. So I suppose nobody would. And why? It is that simple. We know all out of experiences, we know the law of gravity. And we know that we would probably not survive if we jumped down from such a high tower. So automatically, because we know this law, we abide by this law if we want to go successful through life. And we know if I would jump, some seconds later, I would be probably dead. There is an effect of this action to jump and to not respect gravity. And so it's with all these laws of nature, when they are really laws, then we should live our life or run our business in accord with them. Otherwise, we cause damage. Now, sometimes it is not within some seconds that we have the results or the effects of what we did. Maybe it comes months or years or decades later. And the difficulty that we have then is normally that we do not see the correlation between the actions that we once made or did and the effects that we have today. And then we start to think it's a coincidence, or we are looking to certain obvious causes that occur. But normally there is always, not normally, always, there is an effect on the actions that we do. Science knows that as action and reaction. So the problems that we have today, and when we want to talk about impact investing, we want to solve problems that we have today. If we really want to solve them, we need to go to the causes. And I asked myself, when we do such stupid things like poisoning the soil, the air, the waters, things like that, or the whole issue with deforestation, why do we as human beings, who should be intelligent beings, do such stupid things when we know that nature with the 4 elements provides us with everything that we need to live a healthy life on a healthy planet? There must be a reason, and we need to take into consideration that it's the same principle. What we have done in the past has caused these effects. And something that we have done in the past was against nature or against the laws of nature. We didn't respect the laws of nature. If we would have been just successful and healthy. So to close this thought, if we want to be successful on this planet, if we want to have a healthy planet, we need to abide by the laws of nature. And it's important that we know that, how they work. So imagine our body. I think one of the most difficult things that we have done in the past is that we have forgotten that we are part of nature and that we do not feel ourselves as part of nature. And when I give you this picture of our body, imagine how many trillions of cells we have in our body. And all these cells are completely individual. They have their own tasks, they have their own talents, they are specialized to do certain things. A cell in my heart is not doing the same as a cell on my skin. So they are all specialized individuals, but they always have one common goal in mind. They just want to keep this body healthy and strong. And whenever something occurs that is not okay in my body, or I'm sick, then the whole body starts to react and to act as one to just restore everything again, to make me healthy again. And in our body and in nature general, and that's a law also, there is no egocentricity. The whole part, every part of nature, and we need to take into consideration that we are part of nature. We are a living being embedded in this nature, totally dependent on this nature. That's why it provides us with all these 4 elements, with everything that we need. But every single part in nature just wants to keep that body of our Mother Earth healthy and strong. And when we are and go through life in accord with these laws of nature, then we contribute to the good of this whole body. And not the animals, nor the plants, nor any other part of life would just do something because it is profitable or when it is against nature. In this symbiosis, there is no place for egocentricity. And probably we are the only being that acts sometimes against our own mother or our own Mother Earth. instead of just realizing how much we are part of the whole system, and that she provides us. My cell in a heart or on the skin is not worrying whether it is fed by me. It just knows when I eat, the whole organism is nurtured. And I found out, and you can check that out for yourself, I found out that always when we as human beings start to do something in egocentricity, then there is a certain fear behind it. We fear maybe not to earn enough money, or we fear not to have enough power. And fear always leads to egocentricity, because egocentricity means I put the ego in the center. And when I do that and separate myself or disconnect myself from the rest of the life, then I am egocentric. And that's the main reason in our behavior that we cause problems. Einstein once said, we cannot solve the problems with the same thinking that we used to create them. So I'm absolutely sure we need to have a shift in our consciousness, away from this egocentrical or egocentric behavior into a behavior and a thinking. What can I do as an individual or as a company or with a project? What can I do? What can we do for the best of the whole? Because we are part of it. And when we start to think like that, knowing that automatically causes, nature rewards us with everything that we need when we do something for her or it, fear can dissolve. And we start to think for the whole, not the ego in the center, but the we. We think in win-win situations for the good of the whole. And the quality behind this behavior is nothing else than love. And love is this cohesive power that binds everything together. In nature, also in our relationships, we can see that in our families, for example. When there is no love in, we have decay, separation, disconnection. We have problems. If we do things not out of love, we cause sooner or later problems. So if we want to think about impact investing and how we truly can make a difference in the world and solve the problems, because as I understand that impact investing is exactly that. We want to have an impact in the world, a positive impact in the world. We want to hopefully solve certain problems that we caused in the past. We want to have this world healthier and happier and more beautiful and just. And so when we start to let our finances flow into the right direction to support the good of the whole, then we are on the right track. And sometimes I've heard that impact investing, that people, it is now quite in and modern, and many companies need to change and banks need to change into impact investing because the consumers ask for that, and that's very, very, very important. We can do so much good if the finances flow into the right direction. But if you do it with the same consciousness, that you just want to have a lot of profit mainly, then we have still the same quality that causes at the end certain problems. We maybe solve, on the first view, we maybe solve something, but we cause another problem. So we really have to start to invest in love, I would say, with this love for Mother Earth, for all life, for all beings. Because, I mean, how should my body be healthy if I do not have love for it? It's so important. It's the energy, the positive energy that thrives everything. And the interesting thing is, sometimes we think maybe what is the result of a certain impact investing, how much interest is coming back, but it's so it's not necessary really, because nature in its symbiosis, let's say, knows exactly what we need. And the reward of doing something good, be it as an impact investor, or be it as a teacher or a doctor or whatever, but whatever we do, nature knows that. This entire organism knows that we have done something, and the reward comes back, because this is a law of nature too. The outgo controls the inflow. It is another expression of cause and effect. But the quality that we give in everything that we do is the quality that we get back in life. And it's not only one-to-one. Maybe the reward is in a healthy life, in more health, or in better relations, or in happiness. It is such a joyous thing to contribute to the good. I'm sure you have experienced that. It's nothing more beautiful than to do something good for somebody else, because it is our nature. We as human beings are also part of this nature, and it is destined to be that we are contributing with our energies to the good of this whole body. And if we do so, we are just happy, and we are in this flow, in this natural flow of life, I would say. And we attract according things, people who think like that, who support us with somebody if we have a need. It is always this giving and receiving, but it is giving first with all our love, and then we can receive. We cannot expect, when you see a farmer, we cannot expect, or a farmer wouldn't stand at his acre and wait until the carrots grow if he haven't done anything before. It is first that we sow, and then we can reap. And so it is first that we give, and then we can receive. And sometimes we have switched that. We take, and this is this more egocentric behavior. And then we realize, oh, maybe it's better we give something back. But also then it has to be rentable. So I think we need this total switch in our consciousness, which is not really a dramatic switch, because it's just to step into our own nature, natural being, and live a normal life, a healthy life, and give a lot of respect to everything around us. And if we do so, and if our motivation is really based on love, then we do not have to worry about greenwashing, for example, which is an issue now in this whole hype of sustainability. We don't have to think about impact washing, I think it's called. Why should we? There is no place for such a thing. So, but if we do things with the same consciousness and mainly out of egocentric reasons, then these things occur. And so I think it's really very, very simple, but nature is normally very simple. We are the ones that make it difficult for ourselves and complicated. It is not. It's very simple when we go through life with this love that is the natural quality, should be the natural quality behind everything that we do, then we will anyway cause something good for the whole. And if we would do a mistake, because I sometimes make mistakes because I do not know it better, but if I do something wrong, then nature will reflect it immediately and will show me, oh, this is not the best way you go. And then we have to be courageous enough to correct things. And that's always possible. Nature will help us in that. Maybe an example, you have probably already heard about, are they called? Marine protected areas. Because we had there no more fishes and no more life because they overfished so much. When they start to protect a certain area and just leave it, then nature is extremely fast in restoring a natural order there. Faster than we sometimes think. Because going with the laws of nature through life means being in this flow. It's like swimming with the stream. But acting against the laws of nature is like swimming against the stream. And it is extremely hard and it's extremely difficult. So we just have to jump into this natural flow of living, in this river of love, I would say, and let go. And on the same time, whatever we do with a good intention, and then we are on the sure, secure side that we will have a positive impact in the world. So I hope this is understandable. I have here two pictures I would like to give you. This is a balloon filled with a little water, but the universe is like that in a way. Huh? And if you just tip something here, the whole universe vibrates. And if you ever think that you, with your good deeds, would not have an impact in the world, think twice, because everything is connected. Science knows, meanwhile, that through the quantum physics, that 99.9% of the reality around us is energy. And only a little part is material world. And so through this energetic field, everything is connected. And every thought that I have, every action that I do, every feeling that I give into my actions has an impact on the whole. It goes until the end of the universe in the same second and back again to me. And that's why it is said in all philosophies I know that we create our life through what we do today, through our thinking, our feeling. That's like a creative process. And yeah, the universe is organized like that. It's a symbiosis. I have another picture here. You know, these matrushkas, one in the other. That's how the universe is built. My body is a whole universe in itself. But only because it stops here, it doesn't mean that it is not connected with the rest of the universe through this energetic field. And so
tried with two outputs for years. There's a switch there, but I understand with the Q, we are not going to have the switch.
Okay. Yeah, that's a picture that helped me always to just realize that one universe is in the other universe involved, and everything together is a big one. And yeah, we have an impact. We have a big impact, and a positive impact in the sense of having the right motivation in the background with love has a huge impact on the whole. So never think that you cannot do anything. The moment you start to appreciate any part of life, you start to contribute to the good in the world. So I think that has been some thoughts about what's love got to do with impact investing. And you're very welcome to ask questions or add anything that you goes through your mind.
While you were speaking, Karin, if I might just add one point, I was thinking, you were describing those universes as, our body, the internal universe, and maybe you could even look at a family or a business as one universe as well. And then you have, if you look at impact investing and the work that we do, for example, we invest in India, and then you have that universe that is outside of your business that is even complex, because you don't, your own business, you do have somehow the ability to affect it with your mindset and what you pass on. But it's very difficult to affect the outside world, the one that you're interacting with your business. And so it just came to my mind that, what is, and I know you're going in that direction with your network, but wouldn't it be powerful to have a network of people that that follow the same values, that when you co-invest with them, that they follow the same values, and then you don't have to think twice whether this could fit. But I think, as you say, values are the ground, they are the fundament of a house, and wouldn't it be powerful to have this global network of people that that follow exactly the same values? Because, as you say, mistakes, everybody does mistakes. Things have actions have reactions. Sometimes they have a bad impact. We see the impact investing that you have the negative and the positive impact. You have to look at both. But I think that just while you were speaking, it came to mind, I thought it would be so powerful to have this kind of network where these people follow exactly the same values that you do.
Yeah, I also think so. It would be extremely powerful. And I realized that this force for good, let's say, it starts to develop. And that was the reason why we originally made a network, a business network for ethical and sustainable small businesses mainly, because we wanted to collect, let's say, these forces in the world who want to make on their businesses, which on their values, which are according to the laws of nature and with our values, want to make an impact. And if we can support each other and share with each other what our experiences are and bring them together also with impact investors, then we have closely a guarantee that we do something good. And it is really developing, and it's wonderful, because we may never forget that there is also this law of attraction, and you really attract how you go through life, your own radiation and your own values that you radiate out, let's say, because we all have values. They attract the according people and circumstances around us. Yeah.
Any
I have
questions?
an interesting example experienced some days ago. I knew in our network that we should have somebody with the qualities and the experience of marketing, especially online marketing, social media marketing, so that we can better make us known in the outer world. And I didn't find somebody in our network immediately, but suddenly I received an email from the wife of somebody who is part of our network. And she said to me, oh, I just jumped over your name when I was on a platform, jobs.ch, for example. And, you know, I'm looking for a practicum, for a traineeship. And I saw that you work together with this and this company. And the truth is that I worked for this company with a mandate 1 year ago, and they forgot to take away my name in conjunction with hiring and working with people and culture therein. And so the platforms have already, or still, my name in conjunction with this company. And so she informed me about that, and then I called her and said, well, what have you done? And she said, I have since 5 years, I work in this area of online marketing. Now I will finish my education on it, and I'm looking for another company because I have done it now in the own company. Apart from that, I would like to make experiences in another branch. And so I asked her whether she would like to do it for us, and she was so happy. And now it's just an example how nature works, how everything is connected. This whole universe knows my needs, and over ways which I could have never imagined, somebody like that with the perfect skills comes into contact, and I have everything that I needed without one job advertisement or anything else. And that's what makes me happy when I see the system works.
Such a wonderful experience. Any thoughts, comments from the audience? Something you want to share with us, even if it's a story or an experience? Naoko, please go ahead. I think you're on mute, Naoko.
Yeah. Thank you, Karin, for sharing your thoughts. I'm totally with you. I'm also a promoter for like the B Corp movement, the B Corporation movement, which is very much, I think, aligned with the values that you're talking about. And there it's very encouraging to see how, as a movement, it's growing. So and maybe there's 2 small like questions. One is like, it would be very also powerful, maybe you're already doing that, to have this kind of thought being either taught or mentored in schools, in primary schools, because I really think that when these things are embedded at the very early stage, and although the youngsters have a very good value system than what we have, but I think it would be really fun to have like a little booklet or a little manga which shows such things about the law of nature and so, which could impact the little kids. And the other one was, I just was curious, when you say this to a lot of the, I don't know, CEOs or C-suite people, how different, or do you really get through to them, or is it at that moment it's like, but in fact, it takes a lot of time for them to actually take action, is just what I...
So the first thought that you brought up, wonderful idea. I am absolutely sure that we have to start with the youngest. They are so pure and so open, and for them everything is so clear. You don't even have to explain them a lot about nature and its laws. I just can't do everything. But there are people who do that. I'm absolutely sure, and there are schools who go in this direction, and that's wonderful. We had our daughter in the Montessori school, and that was also very close to that, with a lot of appreciation for nature. That's wonderful. We try to do it because I'm more out of this business world, I would say. We try to do it in our network with an education that we will start in September, a whole series of modules in which we show how to run a business in accord with nature. And we try to invite CEOs or leading people, entrepreneurs, to learn about these things, and we give us enough time to see how we can adapt it in our own life and our own business. Now, the reaction of the people, I started 27 years ago, and most of them laughed at me. And most of them said, you cannot talk about love in business. And I just said, I can't help. That's how nature works. So you can reject it, but you have to live with the consequences. Or you can start to try to go with this flow and to see how you and your business and your people improve. And normally in the past 27 years, when I worked with a company, they said either yes or no. And when they said yes, I stayed with them over years, because it's not just done with a seminar. We had to start in the daily life to see and find out where do we have to adjust something. And when such a strong relationship can be done in business, then you have the chance to really change something. And I was very happy that I had some, I never had a lot of clients, but I had long-term clients. And that was very, very wonderful for me. And now I think the time has changed a little, in the way that more and more people are very open to these ideas. And normally they know that I'm right with what I'm telling them. And I always say, you don't have to believe me, you just try it out. Because when a law of nature is a law of nature, then it works anyway. And we are part of nature and we experience it everywhere. So we just have to go through life with open eyes and try out new things sometimes, and then we make our experiences that prove that it works. And more people are open to these thoughts, and I think we are faster in adapting them, because the problems are bigger and we don't have much time. So we better do it right from the beginning on. And so I have a lot of hope, really. It is my hope that more and more people listen to these ideas. It does not have from me, because everybody of you has a lot of knowledge in this regard. We just have to share it and yeah, live as an example.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any more questions or comments from the audience for Karin, or just anything you'd like to say to the topic?
The topic, thanks a lot, Karin. And by the way, I love your name. in the your last name in Swiss German. It means fox and rabbit, like a small rabbit. Bunny, that's the name. Yeah, Fox and Bunny. Karin Fox and Bunny is her name, so very nature-based. Love it.
No coincidence, probably. Yeah.
I don't know. From the point of the business world and the topic itself, I think I'm not sure if it's if there are more and more people going this direction. I have the more impression that more and more people, the universe provides you with more and more people around you. So your surroundings, you get more and more connected because you feel it and you see it, and then it comes connected. Especially man to man, they don't even talk about emotions. So let's start with love and all the stuff in business. I mean, this is like far-fetched. I know it as a man. So if you start like that, they think like, yeah, they have completely different thoughts about you and everything. And what happens? What I would like, I think Naoko said that with the primary school that we could implement, even if it's just in a couple of hours a month, it's already enough just to say that the people understand that the universe is one. So this could already change something in mind to bring the people closer together. And it's not, if you throw a stone, the stone is coming back to your back head. If you give out something, it's coming automatically. It happens to me all the time. It's crazy. Sometimes it's like really scary. I'm thinking of something. I said, oh, I should have. And then somebody's coming to me and giving it to me on a silver plate. Says, hey, is this? And I say, yes, yeah, true. I just thought about, happens like almost every day. So maybe it's from the childhood, I don't know. But yeah, getting the children on board. So this could be a good way. And maybe some more men. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I, by the way, do not so often talk about love when I am teaching within a business. I often talk about win-win orientation, which is the same at the end. Behind is the same power and the same energy, but you really have to be careful which wording you use for which people. And so,
yeah, totally. I will never use love in a business talk or something. It goes completely the wrong direction. Right now, maybe in 20 years, but right now, no.
Still.
Not with a man.
Okay.
Karin, I'm Kavita. I have a small question. Since you work with people who have wealth and who want to invest in impact investing, have you come across investors who often want the impact to happen immediately, or they want to see the impact happening in 6 months or 3 months? Because we come across a lot of members who say that because they work with investors who give them money, they have to invest in businesses that show immediate results. But as we understand, anything in nature cannot be rushed. And the other thing is something like poverty alleviation cannot actually happen in months, because the problems have been for centuries, and that's the result why we see such kind of poverty everywhere. So I would just want to hear from you about your experience with such investors.
Yeah. I have not yet so many experiences with impact investors. I get to know more and more of them. And I think this mindset that we have to have a result as far as possible, as fast as possible, that's still in most heads, I would say. And it's understandable in a way. I, by the way, really think that impact investing will have a good interest at the end, or a good reward, also financially, and with much less risks than many other investments. But you have to give it a certain time. And this is part of the switch that we have to do in our consciousness. Look, sometimes when a problem becomes so urgent, we just do not ask for this hurrying again. We just know now we have to act and do something, because it has to do with our life and survival. And it is sad when things have to come so far, but sometimes it's really the pressure of the circumstances that causes people to let go of certain thinking. As you said, you cannot rush nature. A tree, for example, if it grows, it makes roots first, and then comes the branches, and then it waits until it can hang fruits on the branches, because would it hang too early some fruits on the branches, they would break. And so it doesn't make sense. But still, in many minds, it is like that.
I think that's something we come across all the time, also as impact investors. That's where values differ again, where you see that you actually think you're doing the same, but alone impact investing is so the scope of impact investing is wide. So it doesn't mean when you do impact investing that you follow the same mindset as investors. I mean, for us, it took us years to find those investors that we know. We always co-invest with somebody, so we are not usually not the main investor. We come and we co-invest directly with a small sum into those businesses that we find interesting and we see or think that they can have a huge impact. But it's very difficult to find those investors, because we realize, okay, things that have been clear for us aren't always clear for them. And that's exactly the thing you mentioned, Kavita, is that, you know, that they are waiting, they want to have an exit, they want to have results, they want, you know, it has to happen immediately. And with us in our portfolio, most companies, I would say the majority is over 7 years, have been sitting there, and we've reinvested, second round, third round, fourth round. I mean, because they're not ready, especially not at the stage that we're investing. And I think that's the thing, especially when you're new to impact investing, you expect results, you know, it has to go fast because you want your money back. But I think if you go according to the values that Karin mentioned, you have the rewards before, because you do see what these businesses bring and end up, you know, the impact that you're seeing is already a huge reward. And it's sad that the focus is still very much on the financial. It is, I think it's important for something to be sustainable, but it shouldn't be purely on that. It should be at least 50-50.
Mm-hmm. And something that is important for me also to mention, I have a high appreciation that we go into this direction of impact investing. I don't want to say something bad about that. I just think we have to go forward. We have to take into consideration the next step. And then we will be even more successful, also financially. But I'm very happy for everybody who has decided to go into this direction with his investments, really.
We have 2 more minutes left. So if anyone has something on their mind they want to share, please do. If not, then then Karin, do you have any closing words you'd like to share with the attendees?
I don't know, no. Thank you very much for everybody who took the time to listen, and it is my hope that you can take something with you, and would be happy to see you anywhere, anytime. Take care of you.
Thank you very much, Karin. Thank you very much for this really inspiring session. I think it's nice to go back to the roots and not always talk about also at the Impact for Breakfast, where we have experiences and you know, business models that we share. But I think it's very nice. I feel grounded after this session, I must say. And thank you everyone for joining that has been here today. And I'll share this recording with you, and please share it with everybody you think that should listen to it, that would gain insights from this session. So please do. If there's anyone in your network that you need to connect, or you think they need to get to know Karin, please connect her as well. I share her contact details in the follow-up note as well. Yes, so that's it. It was a huge pleasure to be here today, and I wish you all a fantastic day ahead, and I look forward to seeing you at another Impact for Breakfast session. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Danke,
Bye.
Danke, Karin. Ciao.